Hello everyone, welcome. I'm still rearranging my room a little bit, and I'm going to take a sit here on my little chest here. So, here's something I want to kind of rant on about, I guess. Basically, Capcom has released a thing called the Capcom Essentials. It has Dead Rising 2, Devil May Cry 4, Resident Evil 6, Super Street Fighter 4, and Mega Man 10. Now, on the surface, this seems like a pretty nice thing. You're getting 5 games for $60. So, at first, it sounds like a very awesome deal. There are, of course, some issues with that. The first issue is that Mega Man 10 is a download code. A download code. It's a freaking download code. Why is it a download code? I'm moving this real quick here. Yeah, why is Mega Man 10 a download code? All the other games are on fucking discs. I mean, I don't see the point there. I do have a theory, though. I'll save that for a little bit. Then Dead Rising 2 has nothing new. Like, it's just Dead Rising 2. It does not have Case West. It does not have Case Zero. It is just Dead Rising 2. It's not that weird spin-off one where Frank West is the main character. Is the one with Chuck as the main character. And that's kind of disappointing because there's still no physical version of the download content of Dead Rising 2. Which is really sad because I've held out so long keeping hope that there might be a physical version of Case West. Case Zero would be nice too, but that was kind of more of a demo thing. But it technically is its own little thing, but I wouldn't mind it either, of course. But, yeah. Now, Devil May Cry 4 is pretty old, really, considering all things in here at the moment, and it's been bundled with a lot of shit. Like, Capcom has bundled it with most of the crap they've had and stuff that ain't even Capcom. Like, I've seen shitloads of bundles at Walmart with Devil May Cry 4 all the time. So, and then there's, of course, the really weird thing when it comes to the fighting community, Super Street Fighter 4. If you're not into the Street Fighter thing, which I'm not a big fighter person either, but I can definitely see why this is stupid, though. Super Street Fighter 4 is the second version of the original game, but we are currently on the third with a soon-to-be fourth version called Ultimate. And the third one, which is out, has been out, is called Street Fighter 4 Arcade or something, or Ultimate Arcade or Super Arcade. I don't know. It has more content, more characters, and it's supposed to be like more arcade perfect or something with balancements and that. So obviously it's supposed to be the superior version, but we're getting Super Street Fighter 4 in this. Kind of weird, don't you think? And of course, they skip out on making Mega Man. And why Mega Man 10? Why not Mega Man 9 and 10? And put them on a disc? Especially what really peeves me off about that is they just recently announced DuckTales Remastered is going to be getting a actual physical release now. Not that PS3 box with a pin inside. It's going to get an actual disc now. I think that's coming out in November, if I remember correctly, the article correctly. And it's like, well, you're doing that, and there's still no Mega Man 9 or 10 on a physical disc. And there's really not a whole lot of excuse for it, especially when you're doing this. It wouldn't be incredibly hard to slap them in a disc. Hell, you could probably slap them as a side thing in one of the other discs, whichever one has room or something. I mean, I'm assuming they're not huge. But here's what I really think is, I would say there's kind of a whip-off effect here. Not 100%. It kind of depends on your your stance with these games. Basically, if you already have one of these games, I would say this deal isn't that much of a deal anymore. Because Devil May Cry 4 is cheap as fuck. It's like I said, it's been bundled with so much shit that it's really hard to not even had it in the first place. And even if you don't, it's so freaking everywhere. It's cheap as fuck. You can easily get that for under $10 basically. And Super Street Fighter 4 is a lesser version of what you could be getting now, or just wait for the even more expansive, more characters. And currently it has a secret unknown character that ain't announced for it yet, along with Haggard, Poison, I don't know who else. Those were some names I remember off the top of my head. And that's going to retail for $14.99. So, what, look at Marvel vs. Capcom 3 versus Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 went when Ultimate came out. So, what do you think is going to happen not only to the original Street Fighter 4 and then Super and then this arcade edition, whatever the hell it was called? Actually, I think that's what it was. Street Fighter 4 arcade edition or something like that. But they're going to go. So, their value is pretty much not even meaningful much. And Dead Rising 2 is kind of a cop-out, like I said, because it doesn't have the DLC. Why couldn't they slap in the 2 DLC storylines into that? That would have actually made that more appealing to some people, especially like me. But I mean, I know there's other people too. And this is what gets me on what I think is going on here. This ain't like some nice compilation. This is we have shitloads of spare discs. We need to fucking get rid of this crap. And obviously, as business, I'm not going to say, you can't do that, obviously. I mean, if you have spare games and you need to sell them, it's one way to sell them. But to be honest, it just kind of seems kind of like a money hoard out way, in a way. I mean, yeah, I know that's kind of like hypocritical because, obviously they want money, of course. I mean, all the companies want money, of course. But, it doesn't seem like it I guess it's kind of like the title seems hypocritical. It's like, the Essentials. These are what you must have. Except they're not even slightly upgraded at all. So, I mean, it's basically feels like they just took tons of the spare copies they've been trying to get rid of and just threw them into this bundle and trying to sell them for $60 like that. Which would definitely explain why Dead Rising 2 and Super Street Fighter, why Dead Rising 2 isn't a different disc, and why Super Street Fighter is there. Because they want to get rid of them. They're not trying to give you exactly a good deal, they're just trying to get rid of shit for money. And that's kind of, I think it wouldn't be as fucking stupid if they gave you the arcade edition, because you can't really give the Ultimate edition, because it's not even out yet. It's not supposed to come out until, I think, next year, I think it said. So, there's still time for that. So, that wouldn't be as horrifyingly stupid, but it's really stupid when you got a superior version of that game out, and you're not offering. It's kind of like the what is it, it's kind of like the whole argument that was with the 25th anniversary thing for the Wii, which has Super Mario All-Stars. A lot of people, which I definitely have to agree, why couldn't they use the superior version of Super Mario All-Stars that had also Super Mario World with improved graphics and a unique Luigi sprite, which is usually what you see a lot of times in a lot of those funny Mario Flash movies and stuff. Ugh. I really don't know. It's like it's really so weird, and I think it's such a huge loss because they could have actually made this appealing in a way. Have the Dead Rising 2 have its add-on. Hell, just having the Mega Man 9 and 10 in there on a physical disc, that would have probably been sold to so many people just because it's on a physical disc now. But of course, improvements, in my opinion, would be to throw the DLC storylines onto the Dead Rising 2 disc. And obviously have the arcade edition of Street Fighter 4, but they didn't. They didn't for any of that. And I still don't understand why it's only Mega Man 10 and not Mega Man 9 and 10, even if it was just a download. It's kind of weird to just have 10 instead of 9 and 10 or 9. You know, it's like, let's skip one. I don't know. I would say it's a good deal if you don't have any of these games. Like, you don't have any of them at all. It's probably actually still a good deal. Obviously, I have some of them, so that's not really that much of a good deal. That's basically what it comes down to. It's not like a total whip-off. It's just kind of a disappointment that they didn't take an opportunity to make it actually more appealing. I mean, like I said, you know, if you already have some of these games, it is kind of a whip-off then, because you're just getting 1, 2, or 3 games that you probably don't have in the West. You do, and you know they're all games that have no real value as a second market. Because most businesses like GameStop and mom and pop stores, unless the mom and pop store is really familiar with you or something and they'll cut you slack or something, a lot of stores do not take, you know, it's like, oh, it's sealed. Yeah, we can't give you extra for that, you know. We gotta give you credits and stuff based on it as a used product. Which is, of course, hypocritical of GameStop when they whip shit open, but that's besides the point, though. As a second-hand value, unless you happen to have friends or something, you might want to like exchange the game with the game they have you might be interested in or something. It has no real value to you, you know, like Devil May Cry 4, Dead Rising 2, I mean, all these games are at least 19 at most off the top of my head without looking them up. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you could probably get them $15 to $10 easy in a used market, and new you could probably even get them for around $15. I mean, at most they're at like the 20 mark, the $19.99 mark, because they're old games, and that's usually the kind of default thing for a really old game. But I'm pretty sure that I would be sure like Amazon's probably more like by 15 or even if not lower. So it's kind of hard to argue a value there if you're just getting it for 1 or 2 games. And that's why I really feel like they missed out on an opportunity to actually get more money, to be honest. Because having the physical disc of the Mega Man games would have been awesome, of course, and a more superior version of Dead Rising 2 would have actually attracted me much more, because I'm not that big of a Mega Man fan. I'm really big into Legends, and that's about it. Like, most of the West, I've dabbled in here and there, but they're like the Dark Souls for me. So, especially Mega Man 1, that game is evil. No, it's a good game, but good lord, it sucks if you die. When you have like 3 lives and you had to start the whole game over, that's really mean. Like, the infinite continue thing is a lot more forgiving. You know, start where you are, go through all of that and so on. That's kind of Bill. They kind of have like 3 lives and start the whole fucking game over for like Mega Man 1 is like a whole fucking nightmare. But that's the real Dark Souls, the real Demon Souls. But anyway, I don't know, it feels like a missed opportunity for them to actually really make something nice for the fan base and get money for it. Now, of course, you know, making a new disc of Dead Rising 2 with content on it and making discs for Mega Man 9 and 10 would have obviously meant more manufacturing. That's why I feel like this is just totally trying to get rid of discs they already have. It's not really doing much. So, $60 if you have none of the 5 games. It's not a horrifying deal. I mean, obviously there's no real discounts on the Mega Man games, and I think Dead Rising 2 still commands about at least $15. I know Devil May Cry 4 went freaking downhill. It's a pretty old game. You gotta keep in mind for our generation, and it's been bundled with so much shit, like I said, and that. But yeah, if you don't have any of these games, it's not a horrible deal. It's just nothing improved from the original releases. And if you do have some of them, it's just kind of not really that much of a worthwhile thing. They're not improved versions of any of the game discs or anything, so yeah. So anyway, Capcom missed the opportunity to actually make something people who even bought some of the games to actually buy them, and I'm excited for DuckTales Remastered, don't get me wrong. I'm really excited about that. Definitely I will be getting a copy of that now, but it just seems really stupid that, especially since way forward, the people who made the remastered version don't make physical copies of any of their games. I think their first game on the Game Boy Color was the only one they ever had a physical version of. And everything else has always been digital, so it's kind of weird that it's getting a physical to begin with. It it has to actually be Capcom making that decision, to be shocking. They're going to make a physical version. But, yeah. And it's stuff like this with the Mega Man, of course, that makes me feel like they just keep wanting to stab it into that. I don't know. Anyway, what do you think of the Capcom Essentials? It seems kind of like a really mixed feeling to me. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but I think it's basically just a lazy, let's slap a bunch of extra discs that we still haven't sold and sell them like this. As opposed to upgrading, improving some of the games with DLC or a physical disc in their first time in their lifespan. But, yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Kind of rant thing. Didn't mean anything too horrible by it. In the end, I just feel like it's a lost opportunity to actually be able to sell these things to people who might even have some of the games. But it just feels like a waste of money to get if you have any of them. Even one of them seems very iffy. So, unless you really just want brand new sealed as opposed to secondhand, then you could have more of an argument there. But anywho, I got more work to do. I just kind of stumbled upon that when I was taking a little break, and it just kind of made me like. So anyway, I'll see you all next time, and feel free to let me know what you think of the Capcom Essentials pack.